much more post-game coming from both sides. So the big story out west, the advancement of Memphis out east. The Sixers begin the Eastern Conference semis on Monday in Miami without Joel Embiid, recovering from a right orbital contusion, mild concussion in the series clincher over Toronto Thursday. He's out indefinitely. Stunning piece of news for the Sixers. Happened late in the game with the Sixers up 29, leading to plenty of second guessing on why he was in there. NBA players have been beset, especially superstars this postseason. What a development. And for more, we welcome in our Tim Bontemps. He's been with the Sixers all season long. Tim, welcome inside. Where does this injury leave the Sixers right now?
Well, Zubin, we just heard from Ja Morant and Desmond Bane celebrating their Game 6 win on the road to advance to the second round, and that's where the Philadelphia 76ers were 24 hours ago. Remember, all week long leading up to Thursday night's game, there was all this pressure on Philadelphia to get out of this first round, to avoid falling into a 3-3 tie going into a Game 7 tomorrow, potentially being the first team to ever lose a 3-0 lead in a series. Instead, Joel Embiid comes out and has 33 and 10. The Sixers win by 30. Everybody after the game is feeling great. Tobias Harris and James Harden are joking with each other. Danny Green comes in and talks about how he's not actually that old yet and he still can play in this league. And everybody was feeling great about going into the second round and facing the Miami Heat starting on Monday in what is going to be a pretty fascinating Eastern Conference semifinal. And now, obviously, 24 hours later, the loss of Joel Embiid, the centerpiece, the foundation of everything the Sixers team is doing, it's obviously a massive blow to their chances of trying to get past the second round for the first time in more than 20 years.
It's incredible. They're looking for their first finals appearance in more than 20 years, too. The buzzword of the moment, Tim, of course, is, quote, indefinitely. It's a pretty vague and nebulous term for a reason. But realistically, when could we expect a return for Embiid?
Now, 4 years ago, Zubin, Joel Embiid actually had a similar injury, and Markelle Fultz, his teammate, ran into him, and he suffered a left orbital fasciitis. In that instance, he immediately had surgery and was out for 3 weeks. This time, the Sixers have made a point of saying, or I should say, they have not said that Joel Embiid has to have surgery. So there's at least some hope that potentially he could come back a little bit sooner. But I think more than anything, Joel Embiid all season long, Zubin, has talked about the fact that he was able to power through this year and play through injuries and be on the court in a way that he never has been before. And he was really able to shed the questions about durability that have dogged him throughout his career. And to get into this series and have the torn thumb ligament in Game 3 that impacted his play up until Game 6, and then to have this facial fracture now, it's obviously just a stunning turn of events for him. And while certainly the Sixers hope he can get back soon, certainly this is going to impact him at least into the middle of this series and going against the Heat team with Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Bam Adebayo, with Jimmy Butler, with Kyle Lowry, with PJ Tucker. This is going to be an even bigger challenge than taking on the Raptors. So certainly, if they can get it back anytime soon, it would certainly help the Sixers' chances quite a bit if they can get Joel Embiid back on the court.
Always remember, NBA MVP finalist and the NBA scoring champion. That's a ton to replace, and that's our Tim Bontemps with the Eastern Conference semis starting shorthanded Monday night in Miami. A little bit more now on exactly what Embiid brings to the table. And we kind of know this already, but he's just been terrific all the way across the board. His usage rate, highest in the league this season. That's the advanced metric a lot of the experts take a look at. And Nicole, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but if you thought that was a bad Philly sports story, let's double your pleasure.
I was going to say, as if there wasn't enough happening in the world of sports this evening, how about this from the...
And how about Zion Williamson speaking to the media for the first time since September? He didn't play this season, but he said he cannot wait to re-up with the Panthers. Zion is eligible for a 5-year, $181 million max rookie extension.
It's been a rough year. Had its rough patches, but I'm in a great space now. It sucks watching from the sideline because I just want to be out there, but just seeing the potential. We got a lot of great pieces, and I'm excited to get on the court with those guys.
You're eligible for extension this summer. If they offered you an extension, would you be willing to accept it?
Of course. Of course. I wouldn't be able to sign it fast enough.
Of course he would sign it. I mean, you hear him right there. He played in only 85 games. That makes him just the third #1 overall pick since 1966 to play in fewer than 100 games in the 3 seasons after they were drafted. Of course, Greg Oden dealt with multiple injuries, and David Robinson spent the first 2 years of his career in the Navy before playing all 82 games in year 3.
A dramatic stage is set for the second round between the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Season series was split 2-2 in the regular season. The last time we saw these teams head-to-head, early April, but the champs taking it by 6 in a thriller. This time it's totally different because Jason Tatum missed that game with the knee injury. Now, a big part of Boston's success this year has been defense. Celtics held their opponents to fewer than 105 points per game. That's the best in the NBA. Boston also led the league in opponent field goal percentage and three-point field goal percentage. The league's defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart, had a lot to do with that. Pleased now to welcome in Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. Now, Marcus, you're coming off a sweep of Kyrie Irving and KD. The first time either player has been swept in their careers. What did it mean to you and the team to avenge last year's playoff loss to Brooklyn?
I mean, it felt good. Obviously, we didn't like the way that we went out that series. They got the best of us, but, for us, it was just going in that game and executing to the best of our ability and being the best team that we could be. Not focusing on what they are doing, what they're going to do, as much as focusing on ourselves. And, we're on to the next. So, it was a good win, a good series, and a great series as a team. So we got to keep it up.
And speaking of focusing on yourself, you led the way defensively against Kyrie and Kevin Durant in that series. Why are you so committed on that side of the ball?
I mean, it's not something that, gets a lot of high praise, in the game of basketball. It's all about the points, mostly, And I was always been told, anybody can go get 50 on any given day. You can luck up and get 50 or get 20. Anybody can get 20 on any given day. But getting 20 and stopping your opponent from getting 20, that's something different. Not everybody can do that. So, I want to be one of those guys that, is a multitask of things in my arsenal when it comes to my game, not only in the defense but offensive end as well.
All right, the next test, now you'll face Giannis and the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks in the second round. What's the key to slowing down the two-time MVP?
Team. We got to make everything tough for him. He's, defending champ. He understands what it takes to be in this situation, to be there. He knows what it takes to get where we're trying to get to, and that's a championship. So, and his teammates around him understand it, and that's the big key. We're going to take a full team effort, and it's not going to be easy, but it's a challenge for sure. And it's going to be fun to be able to go up against one of the greatest players in the game of basketball today.
So I want to get back to your squad, right? So Jason Tatum with the most points in a 4-game series sweep in franchise history. What's the biggest reason for his rise to one of the best in the league?
He's understanding the game more. He's just letting the game come to him more, and I think we can all see it. It's just so fluent, and it's no rush. He's always under control. He's always poised, and with a player like that, when he can be comfortable and things are starting to slow down for him, he started to flourish and on that side of the court, and we're seeing it. Like you said, that's history being made, and you got to be proud of him and the work that he's put in to get here and to even keep going. So, the way that he's seeing the game and the way that it's slowing down for him, I think, is what's helping him flourish the way he has been.
Yeah, he's definitely been lights out lately. It's all right. So earlier this season when the team was struggling, Jaylen Brown was rumored to be on the trading block. What's it like hearing the noise while powering through all of that?
Oh, it's part of the game. It's part of the business side of it. I've been on the trade block every year since I've been here. So it's definitely something that is there, but it shouldn't affect the way that you play. You go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and everything else will handle itself. So, and that's the way Jaylen approached it, and that's how we all have approached it, and that's why we've been flourishing. Our minds are free, and we're just out there having fun playing basketball.
All right. So last question: you had Brad Stevens last year. You're doing this under rookie head coach Ime Udoka. Why do you think he's having this much success in his first year?
I mean, for Ime, he was able to be around, some of the greatest coaches to do it. Being able to coach some of the greatest players. He's learned from his time as playing as well. So he has the arsenal he needs and the resources in that arsenal for him to be doing what he's doing now, and it's no surprise to us. Coming in, he had a way that he wanted to play. He had a way of culture that he wanted to be. And he stuck with it. And when you got a coach like that's played, who understands the game, and who has the experience with coaching with other guys that are great. There's no surprise for us coming in and taking on the same, personality that he has.
He's the Defensive Player of the Year who also just happens to look really cool in a robe. Marcus Smart, thanks for joining us on SportsCenter, man.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff there. Marcus will like this. Our BPI, Basketball Power Index, likes the Celtics to take the matchup, against the Bucks. The metric gives Boston a 62% chance to eliminate Milwaukee. BPI makes the Heat a heavy favorite over the 76ers. It also likes the Mavs to eliminate the Suns in the West. Here's Michael Eaves and our countdown crew with more.
All right, Kelsey, thank you so much. Yeah, just 4 remain in the East, along with Jalen, RJ.
We're going to need some stickers
it's lit
for that.
in the corner. It's lit.